Welcome back, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is episode 4, and this is different. Hope you're impressed by my tech skills. It was definitely not easy to get this going. This is my first time ever using OBS, so bear me if the quality isn't great. I am just using my computer camera, so it's not the best. Hopefully the brightness is okay and the sound. But yeah, as you can see, this is the gym video that I was talking about. I am going to have my phone beside me so I can look at my gym spreadsheet just so I can let you know specifics, things like that. But yeah, pretty much straightforward video. This is going to be a bit of value, a bit of knowledge on my end. Yeah, let's get it going. So yeah, I'm not sure if go back. I had to move the camera over to the other side. So this is the routine. So it's 6 days on, 1 day off. I found this works best for me, having Thursday off, because I don't really do anything on a Sunday. Saturday, same thing. Weekends are pretty much free for me, so best time to go. It's also quieter in the gym on the weekends, which I recommend everyone go on the weekends to the gym if you can. So yeah, pretty straightforward PPL split. Push, pull, legs, but I do pull, push, legs, just the way it worked out. You may notice it says power and standard. So essentially, power are the days where, well, we'll get to it. I'll explain more. But yeah, obviously two different days. Standard is for regular day. Um, the advantage to having a rest day on the Thursday is that my week actually gets broken up. However, you enter the treacherous territory where Friday, Sunday goes straight into the Monday, Wednesday. But then again, the standard day gives you a bit more rest as opposed to the power day, which we'll get onto. So, talking to the pull days. So, as you may notice, it's the same on both sessions. Obviously, the power session, which clearly says there, high weights, less sets. We'll get to that later. But breaking on the actual workouts, so obviously we have lat pull down to start off with, and we finish with single arm machine rows. My basic thoughts when making this was 3 back workouts, 2 shoulder, 2 bicep. I think that's more than enough in terms of the actual number of exercises during that session. Um, and I think it's a pretty good variety, in my opinion. We'll go through quickly. Just obviously lat pull down, the vertical movement, feel lat specifically for. Um, I'm pretty sure it's for stretching out the lat and increasing your width. Um, rid for cable row and single arm machine rows. Obviously, you're going across this way, so horizontal movement, which predominantly focusing on thickening up your back. Um, Obviously, I have 2 of those, so that's what I'm currently focusing on. And for biceps, so we have barbell or cable, that is really dependent on what's free at the time. And we have hammer cast. Cable, obviously, for the peaks and general stretch. And hammer cast, I just love hammer cast personally. They are optimizing both forearm training and bicep training with the long head, thickening up the bicep. So as you're going up and down, gaining that a good squeeze on your forearms, which I think is pretty good. And yeah, in terms of sets, I'll go through the standard session for my. Oh, and then obviously jumping the gun. Rear delt pulls, lateral raises. Rear delt pulls is just the way I do it. You can either go across, pinning the cable to shoulder height and pulling across this way, or you can flip that and lean over, which is what I do. Pin the cables at the bottom, just grab the bare cable, just kind of like pull like that. I usually keep my left hand or right hand on the red delt to feel when it flexes and it's contracting as it's going down. That's what I personally do. I think that is pretty good in terms of feeling the muscle because it can be hard seeing it's such a small muscle. It can be hard seeing as it is such a small muscle. So getting your hand on there and just engaging, touching. Whenever I work out with a partner, it's really nice when they touch just gently so you can feel where you're contracting. I think that's pretty advantageous. I don't know what you guys think. And lateral raises, pretty self-explanatory. Although what I used to do is when I did cable lateral raises, I would pin the cable at the very bottom, and then I would pull from there. But I noticed I'd get like pain in my delts. I'd be engaging my traps. So literally, as of last week, I am starting to pin it at like my knee height, which essentially starts you at the 90-degree angle, and you can just pull up from there. So yeah, that's what I've been enjoying. So in terms of repetitions and sets, for a lat pull down, I do 4 sets between 10 and 12 reps. My aim is to go quite heavy here with good form. Cable bicep curls, just do 3 sets, and I do a 10 by 10 drop set. So I think that's better because you get a serious pump, obviously, and the drop is very small. You just drop it by 1 pin down on the cable machine. Rear delt pulls, I have a unique thought on these because it's such a small muscle and so rarely trained. I think it's best to do them non-stop, just back to back to back, just join the sets together. So I just do 3 sets, 10 to 12. Relatively low weight, but just enough to keep it engaged. Lateral raises, I do 4 sets between 10 and 12 with like a decent weight. Because I've noticed, obviously, you want to go heavy, but you don't want to go too heavy where you can't actually perform the movement. Cable rows, I do 4 sets between 10 and 15 there. Relatively heavy, not crazy. I want to engage my back. What I do is I want to try and feel like the popping, cracking feeling when you really stretch out your lats and you pull them back in. It's really hard to describe, but it's like a popping feeling you feel. Hammer curls. I do 4 sets of these, 10 reps, and I go heavy, and I could do these as a drop set on the last set. In fact, we'll go on to it, but I do a lot of drop sets. And then single arm machine rows, same thing, 3 sets between 8 and 12. Because I'm going single arm, I want to really focus on getting a big stretch on the machine and a really big squeeze. Personally, I put my hand on the pad as I'm going instead of being up to it. So I find that because I have pretty long arms, so usually if I'm on it, I'll just lose all the tension and it will hit the back. So I put my arm to get that stretch and then put it back in. Push days. So this is probably my weakest day in terms of the actual content of the work. I know there's a decent amount of stuff there, but I personally struggle with engaging my chest. It's just a thing I've always had. I used to be able to do it really well, but as I've grown, it's been really hard. I'm not too sure why. Which is why it's set up the way it is. So, obviously, incline, I do this on the Smith machine. Very straightforward, just 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Trying to keep it heavy, good form. Trying to get a squeeze at the top. Shoulder press, same thing, trying to keep it heavy. 3 sets of 8 to 12. And, trying to get the full range of motion. Like a slow decline. Or slow eccentric contraction. Pec deck flies, pretty much straightforward, just get a stretch, get a squeeze, do 3 sets between 10 and 15 reps. Tricep push downs, we do 4 sets, 12 reps. I try and go pretty heavy on this because I feel like when you're pushing down with V a V bar, you can put a lot of weight down as well. Because you're kind of leaning over when you do it. That's how I do it anyways. So go pretty heavy on that. Lateral raises, exactly the same as the pull day. 4 sets, 10 to 12. Try and keep it heavy but controlled. And now with the raised pin height. Machine chest press. This is the ultimate machine for humbling you. Because obviously it goes to like 100 and something pounds, or 100 something the numerical value. But it's so difficult to get a heavy weight on this. So yeah, I really focus on getting a really big stretch and a really, really good squeeze as I'm going. And I feel like that gives you the biggest pump. And then tricep pull downs. This is the finishing movement. Pulling through, trying to twist at the bottom to really engage the top of the tricep. So yeah, same sort of philosophy here with the pull day. 3 chest movements, 2 tricep, but I only do 1 shoulder because yeah, I'm not sure what actually. I could add in the ray delt pulls. I might actually. But yeah, moving on. Leg days. Right. You may notice that this is very, very minimal. For a long time, my legs were larger than the rest of my body. So what I ended up doing is I just kind of cut a lot of it out. I'm slowly starting to build back up now because I'm getting bigger. My legs are getting smaller. So normally what I would have is I would have a Romanian deadlift. So RDLs before all this, but I'll probably get to that at some point and try and work up to it. It's just I have very, very tight hamstrings, so it takes so long to stretch them out. And by then, it's already been like 10 minutes. And yeah, it just felt like it was a waste of time. Anyways, moving on to what I'm actually doing. So I found really good results in this, good pumps, uh, incredible DOMs, really incredible DOMs. And yeah, just overall good progression in weight, um, good management with the variety of it. So for plate loaded leg press, I'm pretty sure every single gym in the world has a plate loaded leg press. This movement I go incredibly heavy on, pretty much as heavy as I can handle for the standard session. So I mean, it's up to you guys. Obviously, it can be intimidating when you first do it because there's a lot of plates. You have to be careful not to lock your knees out, things like that. And yeah, I do about 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps, but trying to go really heavy, And yeah, that's really the biggest like combination movement I'll do for leg days. Then I go straight to calf raises. My gym has a seated calf raise. Not as good as a standing, but we have to work with it. Do 3 sets, 10 to 12. Try and get a good squeeze at the top and a good extension of the bum. Same can be said with the leg extensions, hamstring curls. Leg extensions, I do 4 sets, but I do a drop set on every single set. So I do a 10 by 10 drop set. Um, Not halving the weight. I'll do maybe let's say I do 80, I'll do 50 for the drop set. This is really good. I've always had really good results doing this method. The drop set is incredibly good for a pump and really burning your legs out too when you get that lactic acid buildup. Hamstring curls, I do 4 sets, 10 to 12 reps with a really, really slow eccentric as I'm coming down. Um, yeah, I try and go a bit heavy on that. Not too heavy because, like I said, I have very tight hamstrings. So, yeah. Now, moving on to why does it seem, I think, if I showed this to someone, they'd be like, oh, it's pretty much normal. But I'm a little bit of a time, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch whenever I'm at the gym. So, what I do is I do every minute on the minute training. So, literally, I get my phone, go into my alarm app, go into stopwatch, and just go boom, have this on from the second I start my first workout and first exercise, sorry, and then just run it. So let's say I finished one set, if it's been 11 seconds, put the phone down where I can see it, and then just wait till 1 minute and 11 seconds, then to the next exercise, and basically just repeat that for the whole workout. So I found that speeds me up. I waste less time when I'm standing around, and what I think is that it forces your body to adjust. Because when you first do it, it's going to seem like you have literally no rest time. You're going to be like exhausted, fatigued, but your body will adapt. I promise you on that. I never used to do this method. I recently started doing it, and incredible results and incredible time efficiency. Like before, I used to take like 4 minutes. Like I would do, let's say I do RDLs, right? I would do a warm up set. I do like 3 warm up sets before I got to like 60 kg, and then I would build up from there. But each warm up set, I would maybe wait like 2 minutes, just mess about, chat to someone. But I've been going to gym on my own, and when I do this every minute on the minute training, it's been so good, so quick, so efficient, and incredible time saving, especially when you're traveling to the gym. And evening with a partner, you can do every minute on the minute. No exercise is going to take you a minute to do all the reps on. So maybe a drop set, but even so, like just over the minute is fine. As long as it's every minute on the minute from your point of rest, it's perfect. Really, really good. Probably maximum of 2 people working out together can do this, but yeah, incredible results. I've seen this from a few other people who do training videos, and it is incredible, genuinely. Cool. So, now onto the power days. This is a bit more specific in terms of what I've been training for, because I've noticed obviously you can train standard weights, you can try and progressive overload, but I found power days make my standard days more productive in the sense that when I'm approaching the weight I'm doing on the standard day is my progressive overload. That's like the increased weight that I want to be at. But the power day, because I want to work up to a heavier weight, obviously progressive overload leads to muscle tearing. Muscle tearing leads to rebuilding. Rebuilds bigger when you have enough protein and carbs. This is where I get most of my confidence in the gym as well. Because you can throw about a lot of big weight power day, especially when, like I've said here, you go down 1 to 3, or adding another plate, or not plate, another 5 kilograms to maybe both sides. It can be really good. And what I've noticed is that compared to my standard days, I perform really well on my standard days because I know I can do a heavier weight. For example, let's say I'm doing on a standard day, I do 80, obviously on the pins for a lat pull down. On the power day, I'll do 90 because I'm not incredibly strong on a lat pull down. This is just what I'm saying. I'm not saying what I actually do, but let's say I do 80 on the power day. I'll do 90, and 90 will feel harder because obviously I'm used to doing 80. But once you can do 90 for 2 sets, oh, I just realized something. I've put 2 reps per exercise. That's ridiculous. Give me 1 second. There we go. Much better. Okay, now that that's fixed, obviously it says rep range is standard. However, 2 sets per exercise at 100% RPE. RPE stands for rate of perceived exertion. So what that means is that you're only working at your maximum intensity, where after you do that set, you are breathing heavily, sweating, unable to talk because you're trying to catch your breath. Maximum intensity, which is why it's 2 sets. Personally, what I found is that 2 sets is just below what a standard set range would be for an exercise. It's normally three, 4 when you're really pushing it, but 2 is a sweet spot where you can put a lot more weight on the bar, on the stack, on the dumbbell, and it doesn't feel like that much because you're doing the 2 sets. This also primes your muscles to become used to that increased weight. So like with the lat pull down, you normally do 80, do 90. 2 sets, 90, maximum intensity. You may not get it all the way down every single time. You may not do, your 10 reps. You may do 9, but still, if you're working at 100% intensity and you're doing 9, your muscles seem like, okay, cool. I'm getting used to 9 now. That's perfect. And yeah, just move from there. I mean, I think it's so good having 3 days of the week where you're going really, really hard. Obviously, you can go hard the whole week. That's fine. I haven't done that yet. I haven't done a 100% intensity for the whole week because I just think that'll destroy your body, especially when you're doing 6 days a week. You need to have a little bit of balance. Obviously, go hard. All the power to you. Maybe at some point I'll do 100% intensity, 100% RPE every single time. Even though on my standard days I do go hard. Maybe I work at a 90% RPE, but not 100%. This is where you're really, really, really working to adjust your musculature to the higher weights or the higher weights. Obviously, you want to get to a higher weight, but okay, we'll take another example with the lat pull down. Let's say you're working at 70. You put your pin down 70 on a standard day. You do 4 sets, 10 reps at 70. You may do the first 3 sets pretty easy. No trouble. The last set, 4th set, you do 8. You're like, oh, do I have 2 more left in me? You manage to squeeze out 2 more. Cool. But on your power day, you put that pin at 90, and you're thinking, okay, 2 sets, 10 reps, that's literally half the load. Surely you should be able to do 90. And you may get 8 on the first set, 7 on the second set, and then you take a little break, get them done. It's literally perfect. I'm struggling to describe the actual how it feels, but it's really good in terms of getting your body acclimated to the heavier weight and also increasing your strength for the standard days. Because the second your standard workout, the second you're able to do what it says on that sheet, on your workout sheet, and you can do that weight for that amount of sets, for that amount of reps, no trouble, you immediately move it up to the next pin down. So if you're at 70, move it to 80, and then do those 4 sets at 80, and then change your power day to 100. Then that way, you're always striving for more, and you will reach a plateau at some point. And when you get to that, you switch your power day to a standard day. But we'll get onto that later because I haven't plateaued yet. So when I experience that, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, this 2 set philosophy is something I've recently adopted. Really, really good, in my opinion, and definitely give it a go if you're an avid gym goer and haven't done it before. Cool. My thoughts. Obviously, you've seen my every minute on the minute method. Basically, maximum effort, least amount of time. Always work at 9 to 10 in terms of your RPE out of 10. You get the best results by putting your maximum effort in that time. Cardio after a session. Right. Personally, I never used to do this. I would just do the gym when I wasn't doing my every minute on the minute method. Do the gym, go home, do cardio sometimes, but not at the gym. Maybe I'll go on a run. But I found when I do cardio after the gym, one negative, you lose your pump because all the blood's gone to your legs, or depending whatever method of cardio you do. That's one negative. It's not so bad, really. If you have a lot of sodium, you'll keep the pump, obviously. But the cardio is really good for your heart, obviously. When you're working out, you're working the muscles, you are working your heart, but you're not getting your heart rate up when you do your cardio. you can really bump up the heart rate. Obviously, better cardio, you may have better stamina in terms of your lifts, depending on what they are. You also have better recovery. I personally think it's really good. And what I do is I do 40 minutes. I try and make my workout 40 minutes, depending whether it's a standard session or it's a power session. And I always do 20 minutes of cardio. I mentioned this in a different video. 20 minutes is a sweet spot. You burn a good amount of calories. It's between 200 and 300 calories you burn, depending on what you do. And yeah, really big on this. And obviously, because my sessions are shorter, I can put them in, making my entire gym session 1 hour. Done cardio, heart rate's up, got a pump, got a good workout in. Bang on. Um, Pick and choose, yeah. So with this one, my thoughts are different. Obviously, you've seen the title of the series, you know what it's about. When I'm at the gym, I can be in two minds, wanting to socialize and have a chill day, chill workout with a partner, with a bro, and it can be distracting. You guys are joking about, or it can be really good. You can have someone who's really focused at the gym session. You guys push each other. Your friend does 12 reps. You're like, no, I'm going to do 13 reps. I'm going to show them up, and it can be really good, really positive. So as I say, pick and choose. I've worked out people before who are not as dedicated, and it's just like sapped my energy, my motivation. But then it gets to a point where turning your motivations, discipline, against this in a bit. But yeah, I have a few rules. No working out with your girlfriend or your partner. That's an absolute no go. You're gonna be distracted. You're gonna be trying to show off, and it's probably gonna take longer because you may be showing her or him like all the movements. You'll be distracted. You're trying to help them out. It'll just take away from the workout. Do those couple of sessions when you have free time, or if you don't want to be putting in the maximum effort in the least amount of time. And also, no working out with people who are not serious in the gym and don't want to work out. Those are my only 2 points on this. Okay, motivation is discipline. I'm sure we've all had this if you go to the gym. It gets to a point where you can be motivated, you can watch all the motivation core gym motivation videos and the Machiavelli motivation, things like that. But it will get to a point where you're not as motivated, maybe you're not seeing the same results as you were in the first place, or beginning gains in one off, or you're dieting and you get into the hard part of the diet where you have less energy. You need to turn that motivation into discipline from tracking, changing it up, maybe training with someone else, maybe changing gyms, maybe completely reinventing the workout. It needs to get to a point where instead of saying, "Oh, I really want to do the gym," it turns into, "I have to do the gym." Because believe me, it will get to a point where you don't like going to the gym, but you have to because there's a bigger, greater purpose than whether you want to or not. Forget the attitude of wanting to go to the gym. Turn it into have to go to the gym. And that's just my stand on it. And then yeah, leading into that, tracking your metrics and your progress is essential. Obviously not to the point where, you've got your book out. You're writing your book like, I did 70 today. And dating it. Just, get like your notes on your phone or like a spreadsheet or something, just put the weight you did or the weight you want to do in there, and then whenever you can do it, up it. So just having a quick little track, there's something on the side where you can quickly check it. You can be like, oh, last week I did this week I'm doing this, and then just keep that going, because that is what leads to discipline, where you're like, oh, how am I going to get to 85 kg on my leg extension if I'm not disciplined, like going to the gym every single day, taking that day off, really working to that rest, taking all the sleep I need to, keeping healthy, eating good, high protein. So yeah, those are my thoughts on progress. Just it leads into discipline, and sometimes, through progress you can find the motivation again, where you're like, oh, I'm actually like going up in weight, I'm getting stronger, you know, getting better. I'm really feeling the muscle more, getting a nicer pump. And yeah, it literally, like, my opinion, it oscillates between motivation and discipline. It's like a small dip, but both sides, motivation, discipline. And I believe tracking and metrics and gym photos and checking your weight, things like that, is what leads between those 2 points. Because it's always going to be this, you know, swing emotion between your motivation and your discipline. So, yeah, it's really that easy. I think this is going to be the perfect 2025 schedule. Follow this, stay dedicated to it. Do it for 6 weeks if it's your first time working out. Just learn how to do everything. Don't hurt yourself. And then just take it easy, It's not that hard. Just stay focused, eat well, train hard, sleep good, and the results will always come in. Anyways, guys, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. It's good. This is fun doing all the presentation and PowerPointing. Anyways, you can see it. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, but if you haven't gone to the gym and you want to, use this. Trust me. Maybe you don't use the rep ranges I gave you. Just use like 3 sets, 10 reps for everything, and you'll be a-okay. Trust me. And try the power days. The power days is a really interesting concept that I've started, what I've seen, and I've amended to my preferences. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world, and see you tomorrow.